Hello, my name is Ed, and this is my second attempt to try to make this video. The first video I made and put up on YouTube, my wife said was embarrassingly bad. So I deleted it from YouTube, and I'm trying to do a better job this time. The reason I'm doing this review is I'm hoping that I can aid or help someone who's possibly looking at this knife to purchase. So with that said, let's get into this review of the Guardian 6. My Guardian 6 sports a stonewash blade and a saber grind, and the handle is camo micarta. I also bought at the time a Kydex sheath and a safe lock belt clip. The knife cost $249, the Kydex sheath was $40, and the belt clip was $12 for a total of $301. So, some basics about the knife. The blade shape is a drop point blade shape, which is what I particularly was looking for. I actually wanted that shape. The overall length is about 11 inches. The overall blade length is about 6.5 inches, and the cutting edge of the knife is just under 6 inches. The handle is around 4.5 inches. The metal in this knife is pretty thick. The site says it's 0.20 of an inch. As for the weight, it's just under 9.5 ounces. The metal used in this knife is CPM 3V steel. The steel, according to Blade HQ, is considered a high-end steel. In fact, Blade HQ states on their website that CPM 3V is, in many ways, the perfect blade steel for a fixed blade knife. Insanely tough, this steel also manages to boast excellent edge retention and corrosion resistance. The blade has also been hardened to a 60-61 on the Rockwell hardness scale. Now, if you go to the website, you'll find that the knife can be configured in several different configurations. Among those choices are you can choose between a 3D handle or a flat textured handle. You can also choose between 3 different finishes on the blade: a stonewashed, what they call a nimbus, which is sort of like a black cloudy sort of kind of black stonewashed, or a solid black, they call it black DLC blade. As for the handle scales, you can choose from several different colors of micarta: a black and blue G10 or black carbon fiber. Finally, you can also choose between a saber or a full height flat grind on the blade. Some of these options have an upcharge to them, so just be aware of that when you're looking at the knife. As for my knife, what can I say? I can say it feels like it's high quality. Out of the box, it was extremely sharp. To me, it doesn't feel like it's overly heavy, but yet at the same time, it does have a good weight to it. It feels like a knife that could take some serious abuse. I live in West Virginia, and when I was looking at knives, I wanted something that I could take with me out in the woods and not have to worry about whether it was going to be able to do what I wanted to do. A friend of mine recently bought a Benchmade folding knife. I think he paid about $330, but even he will admit that he wonders at times if the knife is actually really worth that amount of money. I can honestly say I don't have such wonderings. Yes, $249 is a lot for a knife, and $40 for the sheath, and $12 for the belt clip, and that brings it up to about $301. But here's the thing, I feel like it's worth it. I wanted a high quality knife that could take abuse, and I feel I got that. Yes, you can get cheap knives, but you most likely won't get this kind of steel or this kind of craftsmanship. So overall, I can say I'm very happy with my purchase, and I would happily recommend it to anyone who's looking at such a knife. Now, it's not perfect. There are a couple of items that I'd like to point out. First of all is at the bottom of the handle. The bottom of the handle flares out. I'm not really sure why they made the handle like this, but it flares out and then it kind of comes to these points, and I can actually feel those points at times. It isn't that big of a deal, at least it hasn't been yet so far, but I don't understand why they made the handle like that. I'm personally going to take some sandpaper and try to smooth it out a little bit, take some of the sharpness off of those points, and I think that'll take care of all of it. I just don't understand why they made the handle like that. Also, the way the handle goes into the blade, a person looking at this knife should be conscious of the fact that if you grab the knife a little bit too high, you actually stand the chance of actually cutting your finger. And I know this because I did it. When I went to grab the knife, grabbed it a little bit too high and actually put a small cut in my finger. It's not a big deal, but just be conscious of it. All right, now the knife also comes with a nylon sheath. I could tell when I looked at it on the website, this was not the sheath that I wanted. In fact, at the time I wanted a leather sheath, but I ended up settling and buying the Kydex sheath, which also requires you to get a belt clip since it doesn't come with one. The nylon sheath, just so I can tell you what you get here, it has like a little front pocket. You could probably put some of these little ferro rods in it, and for the most part, if it meets your needs and that's what you want, I'm sure it'll be fine for you. I bought the Kydex and I have no intention of ever using the nylon sheath. With the Kydex sheath, the knife fits securely in it. It will not accidentally fall out. It does not rattle. It is very secure in the sheath. It takes effort to pull it out and to push it in. Now, with that said, that itself brings another issue here, is that the way that the Kydex is cut, where you would naturally put your thumb at, it's kind of smooth there, and it's angled in such a way that it would be easy for your thumb to slide off. So what I plan on doing is taking a small file and putting in some small marks there, some small nicks in the area where your thumb would go, to give a little bit of texture. I got that idea from another YouTuber who reviews knives, and he was reviewing a Guardian, and he mentions the same thing. So it's a simple fix. Just simply get a little file or something and put a little bit of texture right there in the Kydex, so your thumb has something to grip on. Also, on the belt clip is a safe lock, and what it has a button that slides, and you slide it to lock it, and you slide it to unlock it, and you have to push it in to open the clasp. The belt clip is a one-size-fits-all. It wasn't specifically made for this sheath. It has a bunch of holes in it, and you basically line up holes. It's adequate for what it is, but it wasn't actually made specifically for this sheath. Well, that pretty much wraps up my video, and I hope that it benefits anyone who's looking at this knife. Thank you for watching.